Hey guys, Marissa at KitchenTableStamper.com. Today I've got this Celebrate Your Big Day card for you. We're going to do a slightly different variation here with some pineapple punch. I'm looking forward to doing this card with you. First, I want to share with you that if you order at marisaalvarez.stampinup.net Stampin' Up! Supplies of $50 or more, you will get the paper and ink card class for April absolutely free in the mail automatically. All right, so the host code is DFVYYFTU, and you can order marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. That's the special for this month in April. The paper and ink card class is adorable. This card and 3 others, you can check out the links to the other videos as I build them up below in the description. All right, the supplies that you need to make this Celebrate Your Big Day little elephant card include the little elephant stamp set and the elephant builder punch. These are a retiring bundle. You can get the little elephant and elephant builder punch together and save 10% now through the end of the current 2018-2019 annual catalog. So we're highlighting those bundles. If you've got your eye on little elephant anyways, pick it up with the punch and save 10%. To make this card, I also used my stitched rectangle framelits. We're going to use the tailored tag punch. The Stampin' pads for this project are Coastal Cabana, Gray Granite, Blueberry Bushel, and I've got some Stampin' Right markers here. I've got Basic Black, Pineapple Punch, Coastal Cabana, and Blueberry Bushel. For the version that you see here in the sample, I didn't use the Pineapple Punch, I used Flirty Flamingo. So you'll see as we go along, I'm gonna just do a slightly different variation in the colors. So those are your inks. I'm gonna use my Stamparatus for this project, so let me grab that in here and we'll just get stamping right after. Okay, so here's my Stamparatus. I got a piece of grid paper on there and magnet, and we're going to go ahead and take all the plates away for a minute here. The consumable supplies for this card include Coastal Cabana card base. This is 8.5 by 5.5 and it's scored at 4 1/4. We've got designer series papers here, and you can see in this variation I've got Coastal Cabana, Flirty Flamingo, and Blueberry Bushel. For the card that we're going to make today, I've got Pineapple Punch and Flirty Flamingo and Blueberry Bushel. So I think we're going to go maybe this way with this one. We'll see when we get there, but we're gonna just put those little paper banners in the back, and these are your choice of colors, patterns, 1 inch by 4 inches. I've got scraps of Whisper White for our elephants and balloons, a 1 1/4 inch circle punch. Now the 1 1/4 inch circle punch is retiring, so if you need a new one, pick that up. 1 3/8 inch scallop. This is out of Flirty Flamingo cardstock. I've got a length of Whisper White solid baker's twine here, and we're going to use that to put the strings on our balloons. I love the dimensionality of that. You could absolutely stamp the strings behind the baby elephant and then pop the balloons up over them if you don't want to do the little dexterity issue of tying all those little strings together and gluing them down. But I like that detail, so we're going to go for it. Our Whisper White stitched rectangle is, let's see here, rectangle number E, rectangle letter E, which is 3 9/16 by 2 1/4. And that's already die cut for us. All right, let's start with that rectangle since we got it here, and we're gonna put it in the Stamparatus. And what we wanna do is, I've got the little ground already on one of the Stamparatus plates, and I'm going to, let's see, how did I want this set up? Let's go this way with it. I'm going to put my little rectangle where it's gonna stamp. So see, you can see this is here where it's gonna stamp. So I'm going to put my little rectangle over that image accordingly, about where I want it to land, and then magnet down. Now the reason why I'm using the Stamparatus is because I really love the plaid design that's in these stamps. But I was finding that the plaid design was getting lost in like a faded stamping. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So just inking it up well, bring down and make the impression. I didn't love that you've got some little faded ink there, and it kind of competes with the plaid texture in the stamp image. So I'm going to go ahead and ink up my image again, and I'm going to stamp it twice. And I can do that with a Stamparatus and really get good solid ink coverage and really make that plaid stand out. I think that the plaid stands out extraordinarily well when you do 2 coats of ink. All right, so there's our ground. Let's put that aside for a minute. I'm gonna grab my gray granite now, and we're gonna do the elephants, and I'm gonna do them the same way. I'm gonna stamp them twice to get that hard contrast of gray elephant and white plaid. So I'll take this plate, put it aside to clean the stamp. I'm gonna bring in my elephant. Now for my elephant, I need to really pay attention to the orientation of the punch, and after it's stamped, am I going to be able to easily punch my little elephant dude? So what I want is for my little elephant to stamp on the very edge here of this scrap. So now that I've got my orientation straight, I know what I want. Let's fit it and make sure that we're using our cardstock efficiently, and then that we're going to be able to punch cleanly. I'm going to ink up the little elephant there with some gray granite. I'm going to stamp my elephant, and then I'm going to gently ink up again and stamp a second coat, getting that gray nice and solid, and those little white stitches become even higher contrast. I really love that. You can skip the second step if you are so inclined. All right, so then again, we're gonna go to our next plate now, and I've got my bigger elephant here, and we're gonna approach the stamp this way with our bigger elephant, or approach the punch this way. We want to put him all the way on the other end, which should leave us enough room in the middle for our balloons. We'll see. Okay, we got good placement. Maybe not. We might need another little scrap for our balloons. I'm gonna magnet my cardstock. We don't want it to shift because we are stamping over the image twice, and if it shifts at all, then you're gonna get a blurry image. You're gonna get shady plaid lines, exactly the opposite of what you're looking at. So now before I go and stamp again, take a look at baby elephants, solid gray versus the white plaid, and then big elephants with just 1 coat. You can see kind of the texture in the elephant. And when you take ink up again, very light pressure, lift. Oh, I want a little more on that elephant's trunk there. See, and could just go right back at it. Love my Stamparatus. Okay, so we got our elephants, they're ready to punch. We got our ground all stamped. Next up, we're gonna work on our little balloons. We're gonna need another bitty scrap of Whisper White. I'm looking for the opposite effect with the balloons. So instead of that really strong, solid image that we were looking for with the elephant, so that we had that contrast between the little white plaid pattern and the elephant, I want instead a kind of translucent look for my balloons. So I've got my Stampin' Up markers. They coordinate with my Designer Series papers. And I'm going to start with my lightest color, so my Pineapple Punch. I'll follow with my Flirty Flamingo. and then with the blueberry bushel, and I'm going to choose a balloon to ink with each of the colors. And I'm going to start with my pineapple punch at the top here, and I'm just really giving a good coat of ink on that first balloon. I'll go over it a couple of times. Next, Flirty Flamingo. I'm going to bring Flirty Flamingo here next to Pineapple Punch. You want to make sure you get the little tied end of the balloon there too, so that it looks like it's got a base. And you're going to just give it good strong color. A couple of layers of ink. And then last, with the blueberry bushel. I'm going to be careful to avoid those balloon strings. Now at this point, if you wanted to though, you could color the balloon strings with your basic black Stampin' Right, and then just stamp it directly on the rectangle. You have to stamp it a little bit lower though. I'm going to huff on my image, which will reactivate, moisture will reactivate the ink. And there's our little balloons. And you see when you do this technique, they're a little bit, they're not as solid, and they have that kind of helium latex balloon look. Next step is fussy cutting the balloons if you're going to go ahead and add the twine, the baker's twine behind. So I'll grab my snips, and I'm going to just, with about I don't know, not even a 1/16, just a hair of border here. I'm going to cut out these balloons. Alright, so you can see there's a little white edge all the way around my balloons. I'm going to grab my Stampin' Dimensionals now, and I'm going to just cover the back with the Stampin' Dimensionals. You can take little minis and half of minis, and I'm going to put quite a few here because it's going to hold the white baker's twine for us. Alright, my dimensionals are all sticky. I've taken off the release, and I'm going to adhere the end of the Whisper White twine to the dimensional, and then cut away the excess. Let me get a ribbon scissor, and then again to the center one we're going to add a little bit of this twine, and then cut off the excess. Oh, look at that little cutie. Now I'm going to set that aside for just a second. Let's get our card base ready, and you're going to keep the rest of your twine. Hold on to that, because we're going to use that for a little bow in a second. Now, I've got my tailor tag punch, and I'm going to punch the very edges off of the designer series paper. We're going to make 2 dovetail ends on each of these strips. Alright, you got your snail adhesive, and let's take our striped pieces and our dot piece. We're going to put adhesive on the back, and we're going to arrange them. So it's off center by a little bit. Your first stripe piece is down a little, and so is your second stripe piece. And then over the center is going to go this little polka dot piece, and it's going to overlap both of the stripe pieces just a little bit. Just a little bit. Then that beautiful little background piece. Love that dude with the plaid ground. We're going to adhere that one with some snail. This is going to go almost up to the edge of the card there. Got my cutie little elephant builder punch here. We're going to pop out those 2 dudes. You'll never believe it. I was just fussy cutting my little balloons when I made this sample. I just kept going. fussy cut the elephant. Who fussy cuts when they've got a punch, right? Oh my goodness, so silly. Look at how much easy that is, so cute. All right, the other thing that you gotta keep in mind if you're gonna punch both of your elephants on one strip, they do need enough room because as you can see, they're little ears from the builder punch. You don't want to punch an ear in one that you just stamped. So a little bit longer strip than you think you might need. All right, let's get a sentiment on here. I got some blueberry bushel. And I have Celebrate Your Big Day. It's also from Little Elephant. We're gonna ink that up nice with blueberry bushel. And center it in this 1 1/4 inch circle. You can stamp and then punch if you like. We need our handy dandy mini dimensionals here again. We're going to add a couple to the back of our elephants. Okay, so all of my dimensionals are sticky. I peeled the background off. I'm gonna place my little biggie elephant here. Now, got my Stampin' Up marker. I'm just gonna circle around the eye a little bit. I like that detail. You can go with or without. And baby goes on the other end of our little ground here. Now, I'm gonna add my balloons with the Stampin' Dimensional. I like that they cross the border of that little rectangle. I'm gonna take a mini dimensional. I'm gonna fold it in half. Put it right above baby's trunk. And I'm gonna put those little strings in that dimensional and let it hang underneath baby's trunk. Now you can cut those down long or short as you want here. Take a bitty little, make a bitty little bow out of this. Now, if you've got the dexterity and you want to, you can grab these balloon strings and then tie the bow actually onto the balloon strings. Or you can tie a bitty little bow and stick it to that bunch of strings with a mini dimensional. Your choice. Both look equally adorable. All right, so we got our little bow. Now we get to tuck the strings behind baby elephant's trunk. Let's cut off the excess from the bow here. My bow's a little big. We don't need a bow that big for baby elephant. Cutest card ever. I love it. All right, let's get the sentiment on here and finish it up. Which combination do you like better, with the Coastal Cabana stripes and Coastal Cabana balloon? Or do you like that pop of the pineapple punch? I think I love them both. I think the pineapple punch looks a little bit more juvenile, like maybe for a toddler. And the Coastal Cabana looks a little bit more baby. But I love the card. Absolutely love it. All right, now we're gonna tuck the Celebrate Your Big Day right up on the ground there. We want to have the baby elephant not cover the greeting, but we want a little bit of that fishtail of the flirty flamingo to show out the bottom. And there they are. Celebrate your big day. All right, you guys, if you got questions about the paper and ink card class offer with the host code, if you've got questions about the retirement list or the bundle discounts, if there's anything I can do to help you stay crafty, email me, marissa@kitchentablestamper.com. You can shop 24/7 Stampin' Up at marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. Use the host code, and $50 or more, I'll send you this class in the mail automatically. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Have a great day.